Hello everyone, Dr. Maiden here with more requested content. You guys are kind of turning this into the summer of grad school advice, and I'm here for it. Keep your questions coming. I will talk grad school and give the advice I have from my limited position. Right, I don't have all the answers. I can talk from my perspective, from my experience, but keep the questions coming. So this is from Audrey, not quite sure how it's pronounced. Question about looking for MA programs. What should I be looking about? What should I be thinking about when I consider doing an MA? Okay, so I am going to break this down into kind of 4 questions that you should be asking yourself, 4 pieces of advice when you are considering doing an MA program. So the first one, this is the most essential one. I think it's relevant not only if you're wanting to do an MA, any kind of education program you're wanting to pursue. Ask yourself this question: why do I need it? Why do I need it? There are a lot of perfectly justifiable reasons why you do need it. There are a lot of industries out there where it will benefit you. You will see a return on investment, or you can see, as long as you're strategic with how you do it and where you do it and everything. You can see a return on investment here. It can be that it is needed. And so I'm going to talk about a couple of things here. A needed master's degree. If you are looking at either joining an industry or you're already in an industry, like even just think of something like the government. The government works on, think something like State Department, Department of Defense. They have a pay scale system. Lots of industries have this. The military has it, the government has it, nonprofits oftentimes will have this, NGOs. They'll have a scale system. And so if you have a certain level of education, it qualifies you to be in a higher pay scale. So when it comes time for promotion, you actually get yourself bumped to the top end of your new pay scale because education matters in a lot of these industries. It can count for higher pay for you. So that to me seems like a good reason to do it, right? I can get more money. So I'll have to shell out a little bit of money, maybe a lot of money, depending on the program that I'm going to pick. I have to shell out money, but what's my return on investment going to look like? Do I need this in order to see my career go the way I want it to go? Another thing that you can think about is just a foot in the door. You might be looking at some different industries where it just seems like everyone that you're researching, everyone that you're looking at that's in the job that you want, has this qualification that you don't have. That too can start to feel like a need to me. If you really want to get into that industry, you might be needing to look at following the trajectory of the people currently occupying that industry. And if they have a master's degree, maybe you need to be thinking about that too. For better or worse, it could be that that's the way you get your foot in the door. Number 2, should I get an MA versus a PhD? I think the thing to keep in mind here is that the MA is what we call a non-terminal degree. It's non-terminal, meaning it's not the end. It's not the end of the line, okay? Whereas something like a JD, a PhD is the end of the line. That tends to be as far as you go within that discipline, okay? MAs are not the end of the line. So you're looking at, okay, I am doing this. In most cases, what you're doing is you're just giving yourself a little bit more education credential, a little bit more training, like I said, so that you can qualify for something like a promotion, like a new job opportunity, or increasing your current pay scale, okay? That's what a lot of MA programs tend to do for people more than anything else, since they're non-terminal. Things to be thinking about as well is that most US programs currently take 2 years to complete. Comparing this to European programs, they're often only 1 year or like 12 to 14 months. And if you are planning to keep your job and do it at the same time, some programs are more flexible than others. Some programs will actually have, sometimes it's online programs or night class programs, like at the University of North Florida. We cater to a lot of people, whether it's our MPA program, our MAI program, we cater to industry professionals. And so all of our classes are night classes so that you can participate, because our expectation is you're in that subset of people that I talked about where it actually does make a difference for your promotion, for your pay, for your ability to transition into a different industry within your same industry, something like that, a sub-industry within your industry. Not all programs do that. You need to be thinking then about, do I have the time to do it? Like, is it realistic? Am I able to actually complete this program at this institution? Is it feasible? Okay. The other thing to think very critically about when you're thinking, should I get an MA, is what kind of MA should I get? Okay, so what I mean here is, like, are you interested in doing something core discipline or something very niche? And by core discipline, I mean, like, I'm going to get an MA in political science, right? That will be what my MA is, just a clear-cut political science is an established discipline all around the world. That's what my MA is in, political science. That's kind of falling by the wayside. Those are not as popular anymore, to just have an MA in a core discipline. Because what most people are looking for at this time is specialized training. Again, if you're someone that, say, you're working for USAID, you do things in global environmental policy, or you do specific to Africa environmental policy, you might be looking at doing an MA that is in a niche that's really helping you hone in on the thing that you currently do. And universities around the world, again, are answering that call. There are so many really cool niche programs that are going to give you very highly specialized training in this thing that interests you, if that's the industry you're wanting to pursue. Those can be cool and worth looking at. So I have, just as an example, this is not an ad for American University, but they're one of the big universities that has a ton of master's programs. They tend to be very flexible because it's in DC, and they're working with a lot of industry professionals that need a flexible program that has niche training opportunities for them. So these are just 4 examples. The list goes on. These are 4 examples of niche master's degrees that you can earn through American University in Washington, D.C. Development management, global environmental policy, ethics, peace, and human rights, U.S. foreign policy. Like I said, the list goes on, but you see how those are so much, like, they're very wide, but they're also narrower. They're narrower than just political science. They're within the field of international studies, but they're very narrow to a specific topic. Those can be more worthwhile for you to consider than just, I have a master's in political science, right? Even within just the master's in political science, and I should say, I have 2 of those. I have a master's in political science. The one, I just had to sign a paper at Notre Dame when I finished my first exam, and they're like, hey, you can say you have a master's. I have 2 of them. So I'm knocking them, but I'm not knocking them. Like, yeah, it's still a master's, it's still fine, it's whatever, for my discipline, it's great, right? And then I went on and did the PhD. Still useful. And even within the Masters of Political Science, you most likely specialized within that master's. It just doesn't show up on the transcript as readily, or on your diploma as readily, as I have a master's in global environmental policy. Okay, does that make sense? Number 3 is, where should I do it? Where should I do my program? The higher the degree is, the more people actually take note of where you got it. Okay, the higher the degree is, the world that you're in gets smaller and smaller and smaller. So the more we know about the program that you're in, the faculty that most likely taught you within that program, the education you most likely received, the internship opportunities that were open to you, right? Academia can seem like it's a really big world, but it's not that big, actually. It gets pretty small as you start to specialize. Don't waste your time and your money on getting it from someplace like West Jacksonville College of Social Science, okay? Get it from someplace that has more cachet to it. Or even if it is going to be a smaller university, like, for example, at our university, we do have a really good public administration program. We have strong public administration faculty, and we have people that we've got great industry contacts within Jacksonville. Another one you can think of is the fact that it is Jacksonville. You think of the geography of where we are here. We have a really good MA program in marine biology. We're near the ocean. The chances of us, even being a smaller institution, having a better program in marine biology than Iowa, that makes sense, right? So in that sense, you can say, all right, well, I'm picking a smaller school, but man, they've got a good program. And so that's also what I mean of the higher the degree is, the more people actually know where you got it. There are a lot of really, really great, really strong departments, even if they're in small universities, that outshine big name universities, because department starts to matter more than university once the degree gets higher and higher. I can talk more about that because that's a whole nother thing that we can unbox in another video, but I'll leave it there. Where should I get it? Be strategic. You want return on investment. You want it to matter. You want people to look at the CV and say, ah, I see, that was a good choice. I can imagine the classes you took. I can imagine the mentor that you had. That makes sense. Okay. Last thing here, question number 4, truth time, right? How will I pay for it? Out of pocket. That is the harsh truth here. How will I pay for my MA program? Out of pocket. I would say easily 8 out of 10 programs provide no funding whatsoever. They're not going to give you a room and board scholarship. They're not going to give you a full tuition scholarship. At most universities, MA programs are money-making machines for that university, right? So MA programs, MFA programs, MBA programs, ooh, don't get me started. Those are money-making machines for that university. So you need to understand that you are going into a situation where they overwhelmingly, I'm saying 8 out of 10, I don't have the clear statistics, I can look it up for you if you want for me to be super, super precise, but I would say easily 8 out of 10, you're not getting any funding, okay? So you need to be thinking about that. How will I pay for it? Out of pocket. You're going to be taking out student loans or dipping into your trust fund or whatever your personal situation is, you're going to be paying for it. You're going to be coming up with the money for it. Unless you are the rarest of little diamonds that get some type of scholarship. Those are very, very rare with the master's only programs. So things that you can do. You can find a program that is paid. There are very few in existence, but they are around. US programs, US master's only programs that pay you. Because they're some of the only ones of their kind, they tend to be very competitive because people want to have scholarship money. They want to have stipends to do their programs, to do their master's level work. Very rare though, okay? Another option that you can think about, this is where I'll leave you here, another option that you can think about that can be really cool and can actually kill a number of birds with one stone is consider going overseas for your master's program. And there's a couple of reasons for this, why I say 2 birds with one stone. The one thing is, anytime you show that you have the cultural flexibility, the maturity to do something like leave your country behind for a year and settle in a foreign country and attend a university and complete a program, you're showing us another whole set of skills that a lot of jobs are looking for. So you're showing that you have maturity and time management and that you have confidence and that you're able to just kind of go forth and flourish, and you can deal with difficult situations. You can deal with language barriers. You can deal with cultural barriers. All these different things that can be flagged by, I did my master's degree in another country, okay? The other thing that can be really sneaky here about going abroad to do your master's, not only do you get all of that, which looks really nice to companies that would hire you, you also potentially can go for free, because a lot of European, particularly European Union countries, offer free higher education, even to foreigners. So you can go as a US student to a university in Sweden and get that master's degree that you want. And you're doing the exact same thing. So you're finding a master's degree in Sweden that has a specialty in development management, and you're killing multiple birds with one stone here, that you're saying, I have all this international experience, international context, contacts. I understand international context of the things that I'm talking about because I got this degree at this foreign institution and it was free for me, which means I can leave it and only have the debt of whatever it took for me to have a room and board. Okay. There's a lot more we could unpack there too. I could do a whole nother video that's just doing a master's degree abroad, and I can bring in a lot of advice from people that I know that have done it. But I don't want this to get too long, so I'll stop there. Hope it was helpful. Hit me up in the comments if you have other questions, other things you want me to address, and have a great day.